Hello, dear friends. Here we are, redefining money, 21 days of inner empowerment. And this is a new series based on the book Money by Emmanuel through the medium Chico Xavier. And it's a beautiful journey because as incarnated beings, we need to deal with money. But it's one of the greatest taboos for everyone in the world. How to deal with money. What is the intersection of spirituality and money? And Emmanuel, through Chico Xavier, answers to the questions we have. For those who are here with us every day since the previous series, we thank you so much for your patience, for the fact that we couldn't start at 11 p.m. sharp. We just arrived in Orlando for a Spiritist workshop that starts tomorrow, Saturday, and many delays, and we made it. Virginia is safe and sound, sleeping, and we're here, Carlos and I, with friends, Carol Correa and Mark Smith. So if you're in Orlando or Florida, somewhere near Orlando, these 2 days, 4 and 5, we'll be leading a beautiful workshop thanks to the efforts of the Department of Children and Youth of the Florida Spiritist Federation, and you can find more information if you're interested in their website. Okay, let us say hi to our faithful friends. Yes, Spiritism is worthwhile, all the efforts, right, friends? Hello, Leonor. Hello, Jussara. Sorry, friends, we couldn't be here on time. Hello, Leia Severo and Sunshine. And here we have Rihanna. And we have Andrea. We also have Patricia, Adilson, Leonor, Melissa, Cessa, Valéria. Today is a very short study because it's the foreword, and then we have 20 days. It's a 21-day series of inner empowerment. Many people have a very conflicted relationship with money. What is money in the Spiritist view, right? And the question for us is, do you feel you're conflicted about money and dealing with money? Many people, when they become more spiritual, they feel more and more conflicted about it. So we need to ask ourselves, what is money? How do we deal with it? Should we deny it and just push it away, feeling like we don't need to pay too much attention to it, or just surrender to the whims of life? What do we do with it? Emmanuel in the foreword, he's so interesting. Because in 1986, January 15th, he writes the preface of the book by saying, "Dear reader, you may think that this title is shocking. This book was written with the purpose of satisfying the requests from numerous friends." Me too. However, we have no indicators for either the conquest of easy money or a map locating the pathway to wealth. Are you upset? Because we don't. There are books upon books guiding various services which are indispensable to the administration of currency that arises in all regions of the world as a symbol of purchasing power. However, this unassuming volume refers only to applying financial resources in exchange for love of one's neighbor. We reverently ask for permission to report about money as a dynamo of work and beneficence. Beneficence. We are aware that money is required when making airplanes and skyscrapers. However, it is with money that we manage the linen for the helpless patient or the cup of milk for the unprivileged children. For all those who try to understand this subject, whether by exchanging currency for bread intended to help victims of famine, or by exchanging it for medicine bottles to relieve the sick stretched out on anyone's cots, they all should recognize that money is also from God. It's unbelievable because when Emmanuel wrote this through Chico Xavier on January 15th, 1986, he was wrapping up this book. And this foreword brings to us, though short, the main questions and the answers that we may have. For many, as he said, the money in itself, everybody wants to find easy money, right? Majority of people on earth. And he says, for many people, money is a symbol of power. And he redefines it right away. So what is money for you? We need to ask ourselves, this is a journey of inner empowerment. Many lives, why so, right? Many lives we have lived using money in that way. Money equals to power. And we've been using it without the awareness that it's much more than that. So what happened in the past? Oftentimes we reproached it, and other times we have actually used it to feel like we are more powerful. Extremes. How about you? Where are you now? Are you the one who now thinks like, no, I prefer not to have anything because I know it's just a waste? I don't think Emmanuel is saying that it's a waste. Or the opposite, like, you know what? I don't care about anything. All that I care is that we are here incarnated and we have to use money, and it is what it is. So what is money for you? What does it represent deeply? Do you feel there is a conflict there for you? It's very fine what it is for us. All right? Okay, sorry. We hope you guys are there and everything is flowing well. But he says here, first and foremost, money as the opportunity of reaching out to others. And he's saying the permission to report money as the dynamo of work and beneficence. Money as this dynamo. What is a dynamo? It's like this force, this generator. It's a generator. Okay, let's keep this in mind. Think of a generator. It's transmitting, it's generating this energy. It's energy. So when I look at money, remember when we go to the first part of the Spirit's book? By the way, this book is completing 160 years of its publishing this year, 2017. And what is interesting is that in the first part of the Spirit's book, when Allan Kardec shares with us the definition of God, God as the supreme intelligence of the universe, first cause of all things, he also shares the elements of this universe, saying that matter and spirit are the elements of the universe. What does that mean? That when you look at anything material, it is a byproduct of God's creation. Yes, we created these bills, the dollars, real, the pound, whatever money, but this matter that is manipulated, which actually is not matter per se, it's much more than that, is like us. The spirit, the principle, the intelligent principle evolves and does internships. Material, the matter, the material principle also changes, transforms, and is used through this process. In the connection between spirit and matter, we have what God wants to happen in the universe. So first thing, we cannot push it away. We cannot reject it. Do you reject money? Feeling it's impure? It's not money. It's like the body. How many people feel like, I prefer not to have a good body and beauty, because please believe me, and we reject something that is supposed to be godly, divine. Money is also from God. Emmanuel says it in his foreword. Money is also from God. And he's not being poetic. He's actually talking to that very reference in the Spirit's book. One of the elements of the universe is matter. And this matter is part of the universe. I'm not saying that money was directly made, like money, the bill was made by God, but as conceptually, as Emmanuel says, money is also from God. Is it mind-blowing or what? Are you shocked? Are you surprised? How are you feeling now? Because this is just the beginning of a very revolutionary journey. It is. Because Emmanuel, from the foreword to every and single chapter in this book, he redefines money. How are you feeling now? It's important that we recognize, because then we can work with it. Is it a feeling of surprise? Is it a feeling like, oh yeah, I'm gonna indulge now? Well, let's go back then to the other definition he gives. He's saying, if money can build the world, also money manage things that people who are in need can also receive. So through money, I can reach out to others. How interesting is this? The concept that when you use this money to help people who are in need, you're fulfilling one of the main functions of money, which is not only work, but reaching out. You feel happy about it? More relieved? Can you already feel less conflicted about money? We don't need 21 days to put a stop on this conflict. Let's ask again. Do you recognize, do I recognize there is a conflict in us regarding money? Right? Let me say hi to our friends here. Hello, Angelita, and Rita de Cássia, and Edivanda. Hello, Edivanda. Constance. Yes. May God bless us, Constance, in all ways and means. I agree with you. And it's one of the blessings. Here it is. Why would Emmanuel write a book, of all books, a book like this? Right? And money as André is saying here, gives jobs to others. Melissa is saying, money is for me another source like time, energy, beauty. It's what we do with that resource that matters most. Exactly. But the fact of the matter is, we've lived many lives not having this type of awareness. And what we've done with it became a conditioning. Now we understand differently, but there is a disconnect. Because many lives we've misused money, either by indulging or running away from it, escaping. So there is a disconnect. We now know here rationally, but we don't feel it. And when Kardec brings a definition that faith and reasoning should work hand in hand, he's talking about feelings and reason together. He's saying this feeling needs to be united with reasoning, but reasoning alone does not do the deal, because we learned with Emmanuel in Thought and Life that everything begins with the emotions, because emotions are byproduct of our own vibrations. And then they create ideas, and ideas attitudes, and so on and so forth. So how many lives have we lived in this paradox? Using and abusing of money, and then either at the end of their life or in a next life, no money at all, and feeling the need. So it's like from scarce to wealth, wealth to scarcity. And then now we have a different mindset. But how do we connect now this awareness with a new feeling? Because deep inside, sincerely, think about this. Let's say today somebody give you $1 million, and you go to a store and say, I want to buy this house. Cash, boom. People treat you differently, right? They treat you differently. You dress up in a particular way, they treat you differently. They think you have a socio-economic status, you're treated differently. So it's not because of the money, it's because of the consequences of having money that we become like this. What is that? An emotional need. So that's what we're talking about. It's that emotional need that drives us into being enslaved into the system. It makes us feel appreciated. Do you like being appreciated? Who doesn't? If you go through psychosomatics, you're gonna realize through the several studies, majority of illnesses are byproduct of this feeling that we're not appreciated, that we're not recognized. How important it is for our own health and the health of others to tell them how much we appreciate them and be kind and compassionate. We're learning, but this is a true reality. It's reality. People want to be appreciated. There's no problem about it. But, you know, I was reading a book by Thich Nhat Hanh named Silence, and there's a chapter he talks about the Buddha when he was in his last illness, because Buddha got sick too, he was human. Jesus was the only master who never got sick. But Buddha got sick, and in acknowledgement for his people, he was concerned how the disciples were going to feel after he left. So he taught them not to depend on anybody. The Buddha taught his disciples how to be kind of self-sufficient emotionally by going into what he called the island of the self. So he would say, it's a few verses like a song, but into verses that would allow the person, almost like in a mantra, to go in and say, I don't need that external thing, the appreciation, the approval, which is very important because Jesus is our model in that regard. His only reference was God. No dependence on others. How about you? How about us? Do you feel you are invulnerable in that regard? Unperturbable? And let me share this with you. The Spirit Valerium, in a book that is not yet in English, but a fantastic book, through a medium that worked very closely with Chico Xavier, Valdo Vieira. And this book was actually published by the Brazilian Spiritist Federation. And in that book, forgive me, but I'm just connecting the cable here. And in that book, we come to know, it's named Bem-aventurados os Simples. And in that book, we have the story, forgive me for being so repetitive, but we come to know that a story of an ambulance that is riding, making a lot of noise. And the Spirit Valerium, who is the spirit author of this message, talks about the man who looks at the ambulance with noise and says, "Ah, so much noise." And a boy that sees the ambulance and says, "Ah, what a beautiful car." And then a woman who looks at the ambulance and says, "Ah, I can only imagine somebody who is suffering inside of this ambulance." And people inside of the ambulance didn't hear what people were saying about, didn't do anything about it. They kept their way to their destination, doing what they had to do, fulfilling the duty they have to fulfill. What does this message tell us? The Spirit Valerium says, it's a message that reminds us how we should go our way, with or without money, with or without high socioeconomic status. We need to do what we have to do, you and I. So we need, the trick here is not money, but the consequences of having money, the implications of having money in the social, and how much it affects us emotionally. So if we feel more important with money, if people are going to treat us differently because we have money, but you know, it's not true. So the reality of the matter here is that majority of people, if not all, who have the conflict of money deep inside, it's not about money, but the consequences. And it's the social, emotional consequences that make us either reject or accept. And for us in Brazil, for example, it's this paradox. Because we have different models, like Chico Xavier, making people feel that they will be more respected, even spiritually, if they have no money. Because if they have money, they're not as respected. There is this taboo now in the Spiritist movement. If a person has a lot of money and is a Spiritist, people don't, at least not in the United States, but in the Brazilian culture, there is this taboo now. That, oh, it's so beautiful to be poor and helping others like Chico Xavier. What about looking back in the book Good News, when Peter talked about money and saying, why does my wife have to work so hard while Joanna of Cusa has maids, etc. He said, do you really think that your wife has more responsibility, socially speaking, than Joanna of Cusa, who employs many maids and takes care of many lives? Jesus, in several passages, he demystified that feeling that we need to be put to be closer to God. But in our Spiritist movement, we still have that taboo. We didn't understand why Chico had to go through the process of poverty. But you don't need to be poor to be a good medium, to be a good Spiritist. You know why? Because the definition of a good Spiritist is the one that is working on changing, transforming him or herself, as Kardec says in the Gospel according to Spiritism. And Chico was successful not because he was poor, but because in spite of all, he was able to keep himself disciplined, self-controlled, not allowing the social appreciation or depreciation, because he experienced both, to take over him. Do you believe what people tell about you? Oh, you're great. In my experience as a Spiritist, I've experienced a little bit people saying, you're great. The minute you do something that they dislike, you become the worst person. It's just like that. Chico experienced much more than that. Allan Kardec, Divaldo Franco, and many others. So money, here, he's talking about the usage of money, the use of it, and the social, emotional consequences. They make people feel addicted to it because they have to work on their self-esteem. Do I? Do I need to work on my self-esteem? Who doesn't? Who doesn't? In this 21-day journey, we're going to be able to go through details on this dynamic. Emmanuel is going to write to us, okay? Beautiful chapters. And I'm going to read to those who don't have the book, and if you want to, I think you should acquire the book. It's a pocket book, and you should keep it in your pocket with your money. Before you use it, make sure you double check the guidelines so you can use it wisely, okay? And it's wisely made by Jussara and Friends of the United States Spiritist Federation in a pocket book format, very wisely, because you keep it in your pocket with your money before you use your money, which is now is plastic, right? Credit card mostly. You read the chapter. They're short, so you have time to make a decision after reading it. And this is what we're going to study in the next days. Money. Studying money. Studying money. Studying the wealth. Let us observe. These are the titles of the chapters. In the temple of goodness, the talent of all. Beneficence and charity. Before God and Caesar. Studying happiness. Scarcity and wealth. Let us be reaching Jesus. Understanding. Talents. Happy poverty. Greed. Paltry sum. Elevation. Between heaven and earth. Gold and power, work and wealth. Yeah, don't be worried. He doesn't dismiss the beauty of money, but in the next chapter, the first chapter we're going to read in 23 hours from now, begins like this. Money cannot buy heaven, but it can generate sympathy on earth when used for tasks of goodness. You see the correlation between money and emotions, money and appreciation, money and sympathy. It's probably a new take. In reality, it is a real new take. Emmanuel is going to teach us especially how to deal with the emotional components of money. Are you happy? Excited? Yes? Today it's a short forward, but it's just a teaser. Tomorrow, today actually, because it's already midnight, when we come back, you have 23 hours before we get back together to observe. Let's make an exercise as homework together. Observe during the day today the feelings you have when you have to make financial decisions during the day. What are the feelings that come to you whenever you have to deal with money during this day today? It's February 4th, 2017. It's a single opportunity for us to observe something that probably we haven't observed before, but it's important. What are the feelings that come to you and come to me when during this day I make decisions that are related to money? Positive, negative, what are they? Okay? So we're meeting every day at 11 p.m. Thank you for asking. Dear Sabine Beck, okay? 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to keep it for now the same time. And these chapters are shorter, more concise, but filled with enriching opportunities for us. So that's the homework for us. Observe the feelings, the emotions that are correlated to our financial activity. How do you feel? Observe, mark it down. Come back in 23 hours, right? And I say 23 because 11 p.m. is 23 hours, right? Military time. Yes, sir. Yep. This is it, dear friends. Big hug to each one of you, and enjoy sweet dreams, sweet day, wherever you are, thinking and meditating where money is in your life, and it's not in the bank account.